Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn about the Parquet format in Azure Data Factory using the self-hosted IR. So this scenario is valid for cases where you are reading maybe CSV file from the Azure Blob Storage and writing as Parquet file format to your on-premises VM. So that's where you have installed self-hosted IR and you need to read from Blob Storage or ADLS2 storage and write to your on-prem server. Now this could be another way around. You have CSV file sitting on your on-prem and you will be reading from there and writing as a Parquet file to the Azure Blob storage. That's also possible. So we will be doing these both tests in this scenario as well. So we'll be creating a VM of Windows Server 2019 for self-hosted IR. Then we'll install self-hosted IR between our data factory and our VM, so we can read the data between from our self-hosted IR node or VM. Then we will set up some folder where we will be writing and reading the file, and then we'll create a pipeline that can read the CSV file from our blob storage and write to the self-hosted IR. First, we will just read as a CSV file and write as a CSV file, but later we will read as CSV file from the blob storage and write as Parquet format to the self-hosted IR VM. We'll check the errors and we see what are those errors and what needs to be done. We'll install Java Runtime. That's a prerequisite to make it work. And then finally, what we'll do, we'll read the CSV file and write to the self-hosted IR VM as Parquet file. Now again we will repeat the same test where we will read from the self-hosted IR VM and write back to the CSV file on our Azure Blob Storage. So all these steps we'll do. If you are familiar with some of them, you can move to the next step. I will put the breaks in the video so you can just navigate through and walk it quickly to the steps of what you need. Now let's go ahead and start working with the Azure VM first. So I'm on my portal here and I need to create a virtual machine. I'm going to go to virtual machine and I'm going to create a virtual machine right there. So select a virtual machine. Here I will be selecting my resource group. It's going to be Tech Brothers or resource group, and I'm going to call this VM Tech Brothers VM. Now it's going to be in the East US, that's fine, and then we are going to go ahead and select our version. So right here we are finding SQL Server 2019 data center is just fine. So now I'm going to leave everything as it is standard and all that. Now I will be providing user here. So I'm going to provide user and then I have to provide the password for it. Let me provide the password. Okay, password matches and I'm going to leave 3389 open so I can remote to this desktop. Now hit create here and we should be good to go, and it's going to create our VM. Okay, validation failed, required information or missing. So let's see what it is. Let me see. It's still not showing us anything like that. Okay, where exactly we are missing the information. Basic option may reset selection. Looks like everything looks fine to me. I don't know. Let's redo it. Okay, running final. Okay, this passed. We didn't make any changes. Maybe it was just error on the internet that could not get through. Okay, fine. And then we go ahead and create our VM. Our resource is ready. Let's go to the resource and take a look. So let's we can connect to the RDP, and I'm going to download the RDP file and double click on it, and it's going to ask me provide your username and password. So I'm going to provide the username and password. Here is my username TB user and password that I cannot tell you guys. So let's see if I can remember that. Okay, hit OK, and our VM is getting ready. Okay, our VM is ready, and the only thing I would like to do from here is go to the local server and then disable some IE settings. So IE enhanced security setting is on, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it off. Why? Because every time if I try to download something, it keep getting me all those warnings and everything, and I get really tired of that. Now we are all set here. Let me go to my portal again, and in the portal we are gonna go back to our Azure Data Factory, and here we are going to set up our self-hosted IR. So this is my Azure Data Factory, and it's opening right now. And the name of my Azure Data Factory is called TechbrothersIT ADF. So I'm gonna go here in the monitor, and then I will be going to the integration runtime, and here I will be creating a self-hosted IR. So right there we have all IRs you can see right there, or you can create the new one. Okay, so right there, go to the briefcase, integration runtimes, and create new, and select the self-hosted IR. Here self-hosted IR, and let's provide some name. So I'm gonna call it self-hosted IR. That's all I'm gonna say to it. So now we are it's ready, and it is asking me download and install integration runtime. I'm gonna click right there, and then take this URL to the my VM. So I'm gonna go to my VM here, and that's where my VM. I'm gonna just close this part. So let me close this and make it a little small, and right there, so I can open my Internet Explorer. In the Internet Explorer, I'm gonna go ahead and paste that link, and then it's gonna go ahead, hit OK, fine. So navigate to the download button, and then download 5.13.80. So hit next, and it's gonna download our integration runtime. We are allowing that. So pop-up start temporarily. We can save it, or we can run it simply. We can go ahead and run it. It's not a big deal. So it's gonna start installing our integration runtime. Now it's downloaded completed, and it's preparing to install our integration runtime. Hit next. I accept the license. Yes, C program files, Microsoft integration runtime. Yes, that's where you need to install. Go ahead and install. It's going to take maybe a couple of minutes to install the whole integration runtime. So we'll just keep following next, wherever it asks us. Okay, our installation has been completed, and we are going to go ahead and hit finish. Once we do that, it is going to ask us some more information. So once that part is done, it's going to ask me, hey, can you provide me the key? And I'm going to go back to the portal, and here is my ADF self-hosted IR key that will be generated. So I'm going to go back to the right here, paste that key, and it's going to validate successfully. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the register button, and it should take a couple of minutes, and it's done. It actually did not take any minute. It just finished right away. So hit finish, and now it start the process. So it's initializing integration runtime, self-hosted node components. It's gonna wait for maybe, that's where maybe it takes like a couple of minutes. We have all set our integration runtime has been completed, and now we can see that there is an issue with integration runtime upgrade. If you want to upgrade, you can go ahead and do it, but in my case I'm all set. You can go settings and see updates and all that, so that's all good. Now what we are gonna do, service is running. We go back to our Azure Data Factory, and see right there we have a self-hosted IR service running. You can click here just to see some more information such as node and all that, so you are well aware of it. So now it's all good. What we need to do next, we are going to go back to our VM, and I'm going to minimize few things here, and then work on a couple more things. So what first thing I want to do, I would like to create a folder. So here in the C drive, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder, and I'm going to call this file share or something like that. So right click on that, and then we will go to properties, and here I will be going to share, and I'm going to share this one with everyone. So I believe it actually we can share with the TB user. Let's say good and share, because that's the user we will be using, and this is the file share. So I'm going to copy the link and get it done. So I can copy, go to notepad here, and just paste it there. So if I go right here, that's the file share. So in the my linked service, I have to go other way around. So I will be providing something like this. So I will be saying backslash backslash like this, and then something like that. Okay, so this is the file share that we will use to read and write the file from here. Okay, now what we are going to do in the Azure Data Factory, I'm here, I'm going to go to the pipeline, and I'm going to create this pipeline where I can read and rewrite CSV file from the Azure Blob to the self-hosted IR VM. Now create this pipeline. Here is a pipeline, and now you're going to use copy activity. Bring the copy activity here in the source, go and Azure Blob Storage. That's where some of the files are sitting. Those are CSV files. So I'm going to read the CSV file. I'm going to select a linked service that's pointing to one of the Blob Storage. I'm going to go to the input folder here, and I have sample CSV file. So see right there, and this has a file header, and now I should be hit OK. And what we will do in the sync, we are going to go create a new data set, and here I will say file system, sorry, and that's where I will be going to create the CSV file as well. So now in the new, you will provide integration runtime. That's a self-hosted IR. That's what we'll use, and here I will use my server backslash my shared path, and here we will use a TB user. Now we will provide a password, test our connection, and our test is successful. We can create our linked service for the self-hosted IR VM file share right there. So we should be all good, and we are going to create a file with the file header. You can give a name to, let's say, on-prem .csv. Okay, and we will hit OK, and then next part is it's all done. Our pipeline is ready to run. It will read the data from the blob storage and write to the on-premises self-hosted IR VM. So you can call it self-hosted IR VM, you can call it on-prem VM, or you can call it on-prem server. So once you have a self-hosted IR installed, you should be able to access that server anyways. That's okay. It says that could not find the file. Hit OK. So let's click on none and hit OK now. Okay, let's debug, and once we run the debug, what's going to happen? It's going to read from the blob storage and write to the self-hosted IR VM. It failed, and let's take a look what happened here. So it is saying that upload the file at path CSV file share is denied. So it is denied by like what? Okay, so what we can do here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open this one for everyone anyways for now, and we will figure out later how to solve this. So go to share, and in the share we should be, and here what I'm gonna do, everyone, and then add, and here I'm gonna give the permission to the read and write, and then share. Okay, hit OK. That let's see if that solved the problem, and now we'll debug again. Okay, the file has been written, and now what you can do, you can go to file share, and here is our on-prem CSV file. I can click on edit, and you can see that that's the data. It has a ID, first name, last name, and all that. So that looks fine. Now I have to work with this file share and permission and all that later. So you might want to involve your networking people with the file share and with the permissions, so you can work with that. But this is how you will be creating the file share and providing the permission. Now let's go back here, and what we need to do, instead of writing the data to the CSV, we are going to go to sync here, open, and in the we are going to edit the cancel this out. We can do here, we are going to go and new, and sorry, right there, not this one. So let me go back here, and what I want to do, I want to create a new connection here. So new data set that I would like to write to the Parquet file format because that's what I want to do. Now I select the file system here, and then I select Parquet in the output. Now we know already that we can read the data from a CSV and write to the CSV. That's fine. Now, but we are changing the file format. So here I'm going to go ahead and give the name on-prem dot Parquet. Okay, so that's a new file. I'm going to put a customer name with it. So now once you do that, it's none. I don't care about the schema and all that. So hit OK. And now what we are doing, see right there, we are reading the data from a CSV file that's on Blob and writing to the Parquet. That's going to be on our on-prem or self-hosted IR VM file share. Now, why I'm doing that, I'm not installing a Java and all that as a advanced. I want to just show you in the prerequisites. But before I do that, I want to show you some errors because often you will get those errors and you get confused like what's going on and all that. Okay, so now this is the error you are going to see. So you are going to see that the file failure happen on sync side, error JRE not found. Okay, and that's a complete error. It's unable to load DLL JVM.dll, and if you are writing parsing or writing to the Parquet or ORC files, you need to have a Java runtime installed on the self-hosted IR machine. So that's the error we are getting. So that's why we have to install the Java runtime. Now let's go to the document here and take a look here. Now this document explains all that what you need to do. So you have two options here. So you're going to go to the JRE and install that, or you're going to use OpenJDK. So you will use one of these. And other thing what you need to do, it tells you like, and also you have to install a Visual C++ 2010 redistributable package. Okay, you have to install that. Okay, so if you see right here, and it says that to install, and then this is required. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to start with one. So once we install this one, and then we are going to see if it works fine. Otherwise, we will go with this one, option 2, and then we will see if we even do need this one or not. Okay, so let's click here, and that's where we are going to go ahead and install Java. Now this is a little confusing, and I did try that. So let me ask you. I don't know. You are on Windows machine, and you are on your Windows machine is 64-bit. Which one you will install? You will install Windows Online. You will install Windows Offline. You will install Windows Offline 64-bit. So I installed this one, and I was kept getting the same error what you saw right now. And then I went to Windows Offline 64. Okay, that's where I went and install, and that worked. So let me copy this link and take you to the VM. And here we are going to open our Internet Explorer one more time, and so we can download the JRE Java Runtime. Okay, here is the one you need. Okay, and you're going to say run. And you can click on this one, change destination folder and install. I just click there because I really don't want to change it, but I just want to see where it is installing. If you get these errors, you always if you have installed C program files 86, you're gonna keep getting the error. This is 64, so you need to install on C program files Java. That's where it should be. Okay, once it should be there, you should be good to go. And I just click there so I can show you here. So we are not making any changes. We are installing in C program files Java JRE 8.0 and all that. Hit next, and it should install Java JRE. Also, once this Java runtime is installed, you will be able to see in the registry. So if you go right there and say registry reg edit, click right there. See right there, yeah. So it's going to be under HKey local machine. Then you go to software, and then under the software you're going to see Java soft. If it is there, then you are all good. So and you will say Java runtime environment, and you can see right there 1.8 version. So if you have that, then that's assurance your JRE is installed successful. So you should be good to go here. And now what we are going to do, we are going to go back to our portal and take a look from there. So we are in our Azure Data Factory, and the only thing I did from this entire document, I only this one. because you're supposed to do this and or this second one. So I did the only first one. I didn't do even we don't need to, I don't know, I don't think so we need to do second one, because if this first works for us, so that we are good to go. Otherwise we will go with the second option. And I did not install that Visual C++ 2010 redistributable, so that's I didn't do it at all. So now what we are going to do, we are going to go back to our Azure Data Factory, rerun our pipeline. It's reading the data from our CSV file that's on the Blob Storage and writing to our self-hosted IR VM. So let's see if it is completing successfully. So we can see right there. So it read the data from Blob Storage, written to the file system, and we should be good here. Let's close and let's go to the VM and take a look here. This is the Parquet file that is created. So now you can open with, let's see if it will try another app, Notepad, and you can see that this is the Parquet file created just fine, you know. Now what we can do, we have to do maybe another experiment where we will read this file and put it back, so to the Azure Blob Storage. So that's one of the other tests I would like to do. I'm going to create a new pipeline, and here in this pipeline we are going to use the copy activity, and we are in our source, so we are going to go and say file system, and if you remember that we have a Parquet file sitting on our self-hosted IR. If you remember, we already have created the linked service that is pointing to our server and file share. Here we have to provide the file name. So I'm going to go copy the Parquet file name. Here, let me copy this whole thing. Go back to the data factory, just provide the file name, and I'm going to hit none and hit OK. And now in the sync, what we are going to do, we are going to create, go to the blob storage, and then I'm going to create a CSV file, and here I will go to the any linked service because they are all pointing to the same blob storage. Hit next in the output folder, and I'm going to give yes, it has a first name as a header. Hit OK, and now I'm going to give a name on-prem Parquet to CSV dot CSV, not DSV, CSV. Okay, so that should work, and now we are gonna go ahead and execute our pipeline, and it should be all good. So we read the data from our file system, that's our self-hosted IR VM file share, and then we wrote to the blob storage. We read the file that was in Parquet format, and then we wrote to the CSV. Let's go ahead and take a look. Here I have my blob storage, and in the blob storage we have containers, and one of the container is called the output. And remember that we have created on-prem Parquet to the CSV. That's the file we have created. So let's click edit, and then we can see that it has created a CSV file. So ID, file name, and first name, last name, and all that. So whatever we have there in the Parquet file, it has translated to the CSV as we wanted to write into CSV. We can copy as a Parquet file as well. Let's go back here, and if I go to the source and in the sync, what I can do, I can let me open the sync, and here let me add, this is gonna be, I probably have to create a separate data set for this one. So if I go create a new data set, and Azure Blob Storage, and now I can select Parquet. So now that should be just same blob storage, select the container output, and then I'm gonna say none here, hit OK, and in the name I am gonna give the PAR QUAT Parquet to Parquet dot Parquet. Okay, so this file will be created in output container, and the format is going to be Parquet. So what we did, reading as a Parquet from the self-hosted IR, writing as a Parquet. So we are experimenting all different things. You can read as a CSV, write as a Parquet, or write read as a Parquet and write to CSV, or Parquet to Parquet as well. So let's execute. Completed. Let's go back, refresh, and now this is the one from Parquet to Parquet. So we read from our self-hosted IR machine and return to the our blob storage. So that works great. So just to notice that if you guys see that here we only work with those step 1. We didn't do step 2 and all that. We didn't needed it. But in case if there are some errors and you can't make a JRE work, then you will be working with this one. Also, we did not install the C++ 2010 redistributable package. So we did not do that as well. So it means our pipeline will work just fine if we don't have this package as well. Also, there are a couple of things I want to tell you. I have seen this issue where let's say you have this Java option set and you have variable where you can provide actually the size. So sometimes you have issue with the sizing. So it is like XM, this is a 256 M, so it's a MB, and this is 16 GB. So sometimes you have, if you have with the virtual Java machine some issue and your Parquet file is big, I will say starting with the maybe 4096 M or 4 GB, and then leave to the 16 GB. So increase the size of this one, that will help. So I hope this video will be helpful. Thank you very much for watching. I will put this link in the description so you can take from there and see. If you have any question, please go ahead and write in the comments and I will get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe my channel and see you guys in the next video.